Alrighty guys, welcome to our NBA video here today for Monday, December 26, 2022. And if you find yourself enjoying this video here today, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. That would be a great Christmas present to me. Hopefully you guys had a great holiday yesterday. Hopefully no fights amongst the family, quarrels. Of course, that's normal, happens with everyone. And guys, if you haven't done so already, please feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. I love to connect with you on a daily basis. Now guys, if you want to see which one of these games on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. I'm 7-1 on my last 8 $1.99 daily best plays on that site. And just a reminder, guys, if you sign up for that package here today, you're going to get access to that membership for the next 30 days. And I'll include a link for my website in the description section below. But, with that, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Nets at the Cavaliers, 7 o'clock East. Cleveland's -2, totals 221.5. And even though the Nets are blazing hot right now, it's actually the Cavaliers who've been nearly unbeatable at home. They're 16-3 straight up in the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and they're allowing a league-low 103 points a game at home. Now, in addition to that, the Cavs are the best defensive rebounding team in the NBA. Jared Allen's grabbing double-digit boards a night, along with 14 points. Meanwhile, Donovan Mitchell scoring over 28.5 points a game himself. They're facing a Brooklyn squad who's had a tough time guarding the three-pointer this year. They're in the bottom 5 in defensive three-point percentage. When it comes to rebounding the basketball, the Nets are grabbing fewer offensive boards a night than any other team in the league except for one. Now, injury-wise, Joe Harris is out with a knee. Meanwhile, for Cleveland, Dean Wade is out with a shoulder. When it comes to the total, Cleveland saw unders against the likes of Dallas, Oklahoma City, and Sacramento. Meanwhile, Brooklyn saw unders against the likes of Milwaukee, Washington, and Indiana. I'm going to lean toward Cleveland -2, under 221.5. Next game, Clippers, Pistons, 7 o'clock East. The LA Clippers are -5.5, totals 222. Now, the Clippers are one of the toughest teams to score against. They're allowing just 107 points a night, and they have the 4th lowest defensive field goal percentage in the league. When it comes to offensive production, Paul George is scoring a team best 23 points a game, along with 6 boards, 5 assists. Meanwhile, Norm Powell, he's averaging 15 points a game himself. Now, they're facing a Pistons team who lost 8 out of their last 9, and they have the worst record in the NBA. And no real surprise here, guys. The Pistons are allowing more points a game at home than any other team in the association. Now, injury-wise, Isaiah Livers is still out for Detroit. Meanwhile, for the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard sitting this one out because he feels like it. When it comes to the total, LA went 60% to the under as the official road team. Meanwhile, Detroit saw unders against the likes of the Sixers, Kings, and Grizzlies. I'm going to lean toward the LA Clippers -5.5, under 222. Next ball game, T-Wolves, Heat, 7:30 p.m. East. Miami's the 3-point favorite, totals 221. And even though this is a real short number, you got to consider the fact that Miami just can't cover at home. Out of 17 contests this year in South Beach, the Heat covered the point spread only 3 times. And most of that is due to a complete lack of offense. Miami scoring fewer points a game than any other team in the league except for the Clippers. Now, they're facing a Minnesota squad who got the W in 3 out of their last 5 despite their injuries. When it comes to defensive play, the T-Wolves have the 8th lowest defensive field goal percentage in the league. Now, scoring-wise, Anthony Edwards averages 23 points a game along with 6 boards, 4 assists. Meanwhile, D'Angelo Russell, he's scoring over 16.5 points a game. When it comes to the injury report, Towns and Prince are still out. Jordan McLaughlin, he's also inactive with a calf injury. And for Miami on the other side, Butler, Haslam, Adebayo, and Vincent are questionable. Dedmon is out. And when it comes to the total, Miami went 5-1 to the under in their last 6. Meanwhile, Minnesota saw 4 out of their last 6 stay under the total themselves. I'm I'm going to lean toward Minnesota +3, under 221. Next contest, it is going to be Rockets at the Bulls, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Chicago's the 7.5-point favorite, totals 229. Now, the Bulls are on a 3-game heater, top 5 in the league in shooting from the field at home. DeMar DeRozan's averaging over 25.5 points a night, along with 5 rebounds, 4.5 assists. Meanwhile, Patrick Williams, he's drilling over 42% of his three-pointers. They're facing a Houston squad who's got the worst record in the West and the lowest field goal percentage in the league. And no real shock here, guys. Houston's averaging only 108 points a night when they travel. Little glitch in the matrix in my brain there. But anyway, injury-wise, Eric Gordon is questionable. Jayshawn Tate is out. Meanwhile, for Chicago, Jones, Caruso, and Green are out for them. When it comes to the numbers, Chicago's 10-4 to the under in the United Center. Meanwhile, Houston went 60% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lead towards Chicago -7.5, under 229. Next ball game, Pacers, Pelicans, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. The New Orleans Pelicans are -6, totals 236. Now, the Pels won their last 2 straight. They've been real tough to beat in the Smoothie King Center. These guys have a .765 win percentage in their own arena. They're also averaging 118 points a night offensively. Zion Williamson, he's scoring a team-high 25 points a game. He's also averaging 7 boards, 4 assists. Meanwhile, C.J. McCollum scoring nearly 20 points a game himself. They're facing an Indy team who has a losing record on the road. And they're allowing over 117 points a night in their travels. When it comes to rebounding the basketball, there's not many teams who do it worse than Indy. They're in the bottom 5 in both offensive and defensive boards. Now, injury-wise, the Pacers saw overs against the likes of Cleveland, Golden State, and Brooklyn. Meanwhile, the Pels are 7-1 of the over in their last 8. I'm going to lean toward New Orleans -6, over 236. Next game, Jazz, Spurs, 8 o'clock East. Utah's the 4.5-point favorite, totals 235.5. The Jazz, they're in the top 10 in shooting the 3-ball. They're also averaging over 117 points a night. Lauri Markkanen scoring over 22.5 points a game, along with 8 boards and 44% shooting from beyond the arc. Now, Jordan Clarkson, he's averaging over 20 points a game himself, along with 3 boards, 4 assists. They're facing a Spurs team who lost 4 out of their last 5, and they have a .294 win percentage in the AT&T Center. When it comes to defensive play, the Spurs are allowing more points a game than any other team in the league. Now, total-wise, San Antonio went 6-1 to the over in their last 7. Meanwhile, Utah saw their last 3 straight get over the number themselves. I'm going to lean toward Utah -4.5, over 235 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Hornets Blazers, 10 o'clock Eastern start time. Portland's the 6-point favorite at home, totals 239. Now, the struggling Blazers are still one of the most dangerous 3-point shooting teams in basketball. They're making 40% of their 3-pointers in the Moda Center. They're also averaging 117 points a game there. Dame Lillard, he's scoring 28 points a night, and he shoots nearly 40% from 3-land. Meanwhile, Anthony Simons, he's scoring 22.5 points a game himself. They're facing a Charlotte team who lost 8 out of their last 10. And they have more losses than any other team in the NBA except for the Pistons. Now, when it comes to defensive play, Charlotte's giving up 121 points a game away from the Spectrum Center. When it comes to the injury report, Dennis Smith and Nick Richards, they are currently questionable. Cody Martin's out. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Winslow, Payton, and Little are out for them. Now, when it comes to the total, Portland's 9-4 to the over in their own arena. Meanwhile, Charlotte went 72% to the over while traveling. I'm going to lean toward Portland, -6, over 239. And with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into our quick pick recap. I like Cleveland -2, under 221.5. Give me the Clippers -5.5, under 222. Minnesota +3, under 221. And real quick, guys, if you find yourself enjoying this video, please feel free to hit that like button. I'd be forever grateful if you did that for me. It took just a half a second to do that. And if you haven't done so already, please feel free to give me a follow as well. I'd love to connect with you on a daily basis. I like Chicago minus 7.5, under 229. Pelicans minus 6, over 236. Utah Jazz minus 4.5, over 235 and a hook. With my next and final free pick, give me Portland minus 6, over 239. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, guys, if you do end up getting a package here today on my site, you're going to get access to that membership for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus here, guys, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.